Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Um, Today, this is going to be the pre-test event. I got Geo here and I got Sean here. How you doing, guys?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you.
I'm alive.
It's always cool when everybody answers at the same time.
Yes, it is. The only way to answer.
Yeah. So first, I wanted to say that according to that's my dog. All our friends went away again. According to the weather report, it is exactly what we were looking for. I don't know what this sun and rain thing together means, but we're gonna figure that out. It's supposed to be a light rain all day, or at least possibility of it. So anybody who's planning on coming by, dress warm, dress dry, and what do you call it? So that's just basically what it is. I'm so happy because today I was actually kind of terrified because today turned out to be an absolutely gorgeous day where I live. And I don't know if it was like that by you, Gio.
In the beginning it was. Later the evening it actually got very cloudy and very, very windy.
Mm. Now, the problem that I had was, I woke up this morning and it was cloudy and I was like, all right, it's holding true and stuff like that. Then and I mean all clouds went away. And then it got real warm. I'm walking around in a t-shirt. It was so damn warm. And what do you call it? And doing all the prep work today. Oh my God. All the finalizing of all the stuff that I've had to do on this has just been crazy. And before I go any further, though, I want to thank everybody who has contributed to me directly via PayPal. It's unbelievable how much I appreciate that. And I've pretty much I'm a little bit less than it, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I've almost got all of the money back that Indiegogo had refunded to everybody. So I'm so grateful, guys. I really am. And what do you call it? And TJ was also a little bit grateful too. But and so I can't say thanks enough, guys. I really can't. So Nova, shut up. And so it's just been such an up and down road on all the stuff that I've had to go through putting this test together. Of course, not without, of course, some lies that were told by some flat earthers, and also a couple of globe earthers, or at least one or two in particular, who just want to give me a hard time about this. I'll be looking forward to those apologies tomorrow. Now, Gio, go ahead and tell everybody, just give a quick recap of what you are putting together as far as the probably going to be one of the most boring live streams ever.
You mean in terms of the equipment?
Yeah, I mean, what are you putting together, bud?
Okay, so in order to actually stream this, I need a mobile battery pack. So I got those big ass LED batteries with about 0.5 kilowatt hour of energy storage.
Thank you, Thomas.
And yeah, sure. An alternator to actually connect this to my laptop, then my laptop, then a mobile hotspot, and a few cameras.
Shit. This is going to be awesome. It's going to be a SpaceX launch. Watch.
Sounds like you need more power.
More power, and definitely more cowbell. But because that was one of the problems that we were considering in the beginning. And then Geo just kind of came out of nowhere. Geo is a big
nerd.
Gaming. Well, no, he's a gaming freak, and it doesn't hurt to have the nerd in there. And
don't make fun of the nerds. One day we'll be our bosses.
I am king of nerds.
But no, and Geo came out with this thing that he uses for long distance LAN parties or whatever he uses it for. Something having to do with gaming, basically.
Actually, the LAN party itself was not long distance. The problem was just that the location had no internet.
Oh, well, that's no fun at all.
Yeah.
But so Geo came up with an idea, and he's got the equipment. He's going to we're going to see what we can do and how good of a live stream we can get out of this. Now, Geo is going to launch that on his channel, so y'all be sure to watch that. Like I said, I can't imagine how exciting or boring it's going to be, because nothing's really going to pick up until after we at least get the pipes laid out. And
8 hours of setup.
20 minutes of climax.
It's the Disney World test.
Well, I don't even actually know whether we can stream all the time. It really depends on whether the batteries are still fine.
Yeah. So basically, just keep your eyes on Gio's channel. He will be doing the that'll all be broadcast on his channel. And so everybody just keep your eyes on that. What we're planning on doing is I plan to be on site on or about 8, somewhere between 8 and 9, depending on traffic. And I'm going to be picking up my son along the way, who's also going to help out. And so that's going to be and that's 8 or 9 in the morning Central European time, which is UTC +2.
Yeah, Central European
2.
Daylight Savings Time, actually.
Yeah, that too. And so we're going to make sure that and how much time it takes Gio to get that all set up. I'm not going to make any promises on that, and I'm not going to make Gio make any promises on that. It's just
5 minutes.
It's going to take as long as it takes. And but I just wanted to recap a couple of things here. I just got a couple of pictures here. Chris, thank you very much, man. Thanks. Now, in my personal time that I put into this test has been long and exhaustive, because one of the problems that that this test has is that every time I make a decision or I make a change or I make a whatever has to happen, every one of those changes has to happen either 48 times or 17 times. It's not just like, I'm going to bend this like that, and then it works. No, the assembly of all the stuff that I've had to put together and stuff, even bending these stupid little hooks, which go at the top of the pipes that are holding the upright clear pipes up. These hooks are on there so I don't have to squeeze the pipes too hard with any kind of fixtures. Bjorn, thanks, man. Holy shit. I don't know what a sec is, but I feel like a millionaire, bro.
Swedish crowns. Give me a second. That slide that might actually be like 150 euros or something.
Holy shit. Dude. Thanks, Bjorn.
Gio, check the Hangouts just to rub it in.
Okay, it's 92.6 euros.
Holy fuck. Thanks, bud. No, really, thanks. I don't, man. Oh, who's typing in the background?
Oh, Gio said something about your keyboard being a Razer, so I sent a picture of my keyboard, which is a Razer.
Hey, look, I wanted a keyboard that I can control the lights on. Other than that, it's a damn keyboard.
There you go.
What do you call it? But these were the these were the tops, and so that was an evening. I remember actually talking to Sean in a private hangout, and I was like, "Man, you need to stop me next time I have one of these wild ideas," because I mean, it really sucked doing that.
About your next project, there, Sly. You need to do more of those.
Right. But and then this is what I was talking about. They're actually holding up the pipes. So actually, the pipes are being held up by that little coat hanger hook. Not by the zip ties that are around them, so I didn't have to squeeze them as hard, so as not to restrict any kind of water flow or airflow, depending on the height. And then this was something that was added because of commenters. Commenters said that if you have the tops of the pipes open, and a strong enough wind goes by, there's kind of a fluting effect, and it puts negative pressure in here and actually lifts up the water and can give you a false reading. So these are microphone sponges, and got one on the top of every one of them, and it's it looks like some party matchsticks because they're all different colors. It's really kind of cool. And I mean, there's yellow and red and pink and all this stuff. So, I mean, it's just what it is, man. I wasn't gonna spend the name brand stuff. I just got the package of ones for a karaoke set. So, and then this is what. Whoops, that's the blurry picture. This is what they look like. And down at the bottom, the pipes just kind of move offwards because that's where they're actually going to connect outwards. They're not going to be like directly at the bottom. These are the zip ties. They have since been straightened. This was just me being happy I was done with that one part there. And then there's all the cute little Smurf hats on the top there. And yeah, so, and each one of those is 2 meters tall. So that was a lot of fun. Now, these are two very important pieces here. These pieces were, I put these together for the purpose of, one is the alignment board, and one of them is what I'm calling the backboard. Okay, the one on the left here is the one I'm calling the backboard. Now, what that is, actually, as a matter of fact, I can get the one with the measurements on it, because I actually wrote the measurements on them just so people could see them and I wouldn't be kind of like, what was that again? Okay, this black board is 50 by 50. Okay, this one is 25 by 50. Now, a couple of things on here, because I know I have a lot of friends who like to measure stuff and, and have at it, because, the more numbers we get out of this, the better. Now, what I did was at the top two corners, this will be the top two corners of the alignment board. There is a 10 by 10 centimeter square, and then obviously separated by 30 centimeters. And then this triangle is 50 centimeters on each side. So you'll be able to use that as measurements or comparisons, or, if you want to count pixels, I mean, there's about 1,000 different uses for that. Now, what you're not going to see on here, because I didn't take a picture of it afterwards, is this point will actually be pointing up. Okay, whoever I'm going to have as aligning the alignment stakes that go into the ground, that actually are going to ultimately hold up the upright poles. The what I have here is I actually drilled a small hole here, and then put a string with a little dummy weight. It's actually an old socket, as far as like from a ratchet set, and it's hanging on a red string. Now, what that's going to do is, whoever's holding this, because the terrain is going to be somewhat uneven, this will give them a plumb line to say that when I line up with this point, the pole 16 and pole 0 alignment stake, then we'll get a straight down line. Even if it's tilted like way off to the side, we'll get a straight down line from that point to where the stake is supposed to go into the ground. So that's going to be kind of neat. And then this right here, now the measurements that I have on here, these are the measurements that everybody's already familiar with from every video that I've done about this test. The measurements are the markers that are actually being clipped to the pipes, which is the ultimate result of this entire test. The markers are 2 centimeters thick. Now, this is just a straight line to go all the way across. This measurement actually has no bearing, but it is 18 centimeters long. This one is also 2 by 18. This is also 2 by 18. I have since painted this one. This is actually fluorescent yellow now. And what I did is, this is 2 centimeters. It's separated by the 1 centimeter. As I stated, I'm going to be having the bottom markers 1 centimeter below the water level at at pipe 16 and pipe 0. And this is going to be that solid measurement. I cannot change it. I cannot move it. It's glued to the board. And then the separation from the bottom one and the top one, the inside distance, is 15 centimeters, and that will be the top marker that's going to be parallel throughout the entire track. Now, what I've also done is the marker light is actually a fixed, not in this picture obviously, but the marker light is I've changed from a red light to a white light because I found a brighter light that's going to work for me. And I drilled a hole right here at the touching the top edge of this marker right here, and that's where the marker light is going to be. It's going to be shining through that so I can do my eclipse alignment process. And it's bright as hell. You'll see it in a picture in a second. And so that's how the alignment's going to happen. Now, you might ask yourself, well, if this is 50 centimeters tall. Why do you have this white stripe here? That's 49.6. Simple. The observation point is going to be 1,700 meters away from this board. This will be because the observation point is 100 meters away from post 0, and then every 100 meters thereafter is a post, and that's going to be 16 of those. So, actually 17 of those, including 0, but which will equal out to 1,700 meters. Now, what this 49.6 is 1 arc second at that distance. I wanted to make sure that I use that so that there are people who have some want to be able to measure the field of view of the camera at certain times, or with the different cameras that we're going to be using. And I wanted to make sure that everybody knew that from an angle size, which obviously the angular size will not change. It will no matter what camera I'm using, angular size is going to be angular size. So this stripe here, this vertical stripe on the backboard is going to be 1 arc second. So anybody can be able to tell, you could probably get down to the finest details of, what was my field of view, what was my zoom level, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, let's see. This was one of those parts that really sucked. Like I said, if I make one change or if I have to do one thing, I got to do it a whole shitload of times. Now, what this is this is insulation piping. It's the stuff that you put around hot pipes, so you don't, people walking by them, they don't burn themselves, or they don't freeze, or any number of reasons. Now, what I had to do is the clips that I have that I ordered. They're small little steel clips, but they have a very, very large grip area. Now, the problem is that the grip area is actually too large for the pipes and the upright pole. And there's no like rubber or anything on the inside of it. These are just straight metal. So what I had to do was find a way to, without squeezing the pipes and without destroying the clips, I had to find a way to make them grip. So what I did was I cut out these are all just little slivers, little donuts out of these pipe pieces. And what they are is they're basically they're all C-shaped, meaning that I've cut a piece out of the side. And this is one of those clips. And what you can see is that it basically ends up filling it up with this rather soft foam, so that when you open the clip and then you put the clip on there, it clips on, but it clips on with more than enough pressure to hold it in place, but barely enough pressure to even squeeze the tube, which is that's going to be my clip solution there. Oh, and by the way, if anybody's ever in Germany, if you get this X repair glue, this shit is awesome. I just thought
Which brand is that?
It was a, what is it called? ROXOLID, Roxlead.
I never heard of that one before.
Yaroon, thank you, bud. No, it seemed to be like a new brand or something like that, just the way that it was being presented. But I saw it on there, and it says it was flexible, it was waterproof, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and it sticks to damn near everything. Well, I can tell you that stuff sticks to what do you call it? Vinyl piping. It sticks to the piping that I use for the clear pipes. It sticks to that stuff like oh man, it's awesome. And all of those boards are also glued together with this stuff. So there's some awesome stuff.
Just to point out, Harry M in the chat just said he just subscribed to Geo's channel, doesn't want to miss the live stream. I suggest everybody do that.
Yeah, well, definitely, because you're also going to get a lot of notifications if it goes up and down if we break it into pieces, and you don't want to miss anything.
Oh, yes. Thank you for subscribing.
Now, what this is that same foam board stuff, but it's cut into 2 centimeter by, I think I have it at 8 centimeter. I'm not certain. Anyway, these are going to be taped, or well, most of them already are. I'm going to tape the rest of them in a little while here. They're taped to the grip. Okay. And those are going to be the markers, because one thing that Gio and I noticed when we went out to the site together, I had walked out with a stick with these clips on it to see, how well we could see it or if we could see them at all. And the problem is that with them being shiny chrome, like almost like chrome, they reflect the surrounding environment and they don't have a solid appearance of their own. So so that turns into a problem when it comes down to being able to see this stuff. And let's see. So what I ended up doing was I am taping these things to them to have a nice solid view and a nice solid marker. Hold on a second here. I got to do something here. Oh wait, I can't. Interesting. Anyway, because I'm using VBS, how do I make it so I'm the only one presenting?
You click on yourself, and there's a button that will present to everyone.
Yeah, but okay.
By the way, that person typing is currently not me.
No, I know that. I know
that's my angry keyboard.
I know your hammer sound.
Sounds clicky. Is that Cherry Blues?
No, that's my Razer keyboard. That sounds just as angry as your keyboard.
Yeah, the switches. Are they Cherry Blues?
I have no idea.
Okay, they sound like Cherry Blues.
It's a keyboard.
A keyboard that makes really loud noises that keeps everybody awake when I type.
and it makes letters. But so what I ended up doing now, one thing that I wanted to make sure that I was able to distinguish the difference between was the water level ones and the two parallel ones. So what I did was I left the parallel ones white, but then on.
I know. I'm getting everybody over to Geo's live stream for tomorrow.
But and I wanted to make sure that I could see the difference. So between the water level ones and the parallel ones. So what I did was the water level ones I painted neon yellow, and what do you call it? And it stands out pretty strong. So so those are going to be the top row and the bottom row are going to be white, and the water level is going to be neon yellow. Pretty simple stuff. This was just a test from across my lab. This is what I was talking about with the marker light. Now this is just coming through a small hole that's less than it's about 5 millimeters, but a small hole that is right here at the top of the line. Now the cool part is you see this much glare, but once I have a marker up, that'll be, let's just say this is the marker. Once I have a marker up to here, that entire light disappears.
Yep.
Which is something that flat earthers don't get anyway, is what glare is and what it's actually showing you. So when you so that's what that's going to be, and it's a blinking light. It's very bright, and it's affixed to the back side of the marker board.
Questions like,
what's that?
Do you really need it to be blinking, because that can actually lead to a false positive on lineup? Just even if it's minute, if it's a solid steady light, you won't have that issue.
I agree, but at the same time, I need to make sure that what I am seeing is what I'm seeing. In other words, if I were to catch some kind of glare from anything else, that could also be mistaken for that light, and therefore set that one, whatever that one measurement was at that time, off.
What's the blink duration?
It's pretty fast.
Okay, so it shouldn't be. I'm just worried about like a 1 second blink can actually lead to a false positive.
Oh no, it's not that slow, man. It's like really fast. It's like I would probably put it about three or four blinks a second.
This reminds me of something, Sly. Just as a precaution measure, I'm gonna take with me another LED, just in case yours fails.
Oh, I got the little red one that I was going to use originally. I got that also in tow.
Okay, so I got a 3 watts LED flashlight.
We're not trying to light up the course.
You had a comment on your trombone case.
My trombone case?
Yeah, somebody says a trombone case.
Yeah, isn't that on the right? Isn't that a trombone case?
No, it's just a plastic footlocker. It's a Gorilla box.
God damn it! It looks like a trombone case.
It does.
Okay. I never played trombone, so I couldn't tell you.
I did for one semester in high school.
No, I've actually had these green cases now for probably about 15 years, 20 years almost.
Anyway, moving on.
The black
I just
ones
thought it
were
was
cheap; they all fell apart. But nevertheless, that's what the back end of that's going to look like. Now these slits right here, those are actually holes that are cut because I have 2 stretches of that foam piping that are actually going to have be up on the post 16. The post will be on this side, will be on the right side, and then these are slots that I can feed the zip ties through to affix it to it. That's all. So let's see. This wasn't actually the pack up video or image. This was me getting ready to fill the pipes up this morning. That sucked. I don't need to say that, but I am tremendously happy that I decided to fill them up here before I take them down there, because even with a water spigot and under a controlled situation, it still took the better part of about at least an hour and a half, if not 2 hours, just to fill these up and get them without bubbles. So that was definitely a thing. Now, I have to also say that it probably would have been faster if I wasn't filling it up with Army equipment. But you'll see here in a second. I'm sorry. This was my workbench after getting everything all together. Yeah, here we go. Now, what I did was I took them all and I put each one in a plastic bag. Now, this is in case they decide they're going to pop on the drive down there or leak in any way that I don't, end up with a car full of water. But this is the spigot I was using, right? Now, anybody who's been around the Army long enough knows that you will never find a normal spigot in the Army.
No.
What? Why?
Well, one will have, this big, ugly honker on the front of it that, you can only connect with one certain type of pipe that was made in the 50s. And people use that one just to fill up buckets of water because you don't have a hose for it. But in this particular case, somebody saw fit to actually cut the head off.
Oh, no.
Which means that something was affixed to there that they wanted off there, and instead of replacing the head, they just cut the damn thing off. So what I had to do is I made out of hose, some excess hose that I had. I made it so I could actually get over the edge of it. You see it's cut off here. And make it so I can get over the edge of it onto one of those T connectors. This is just a blocker, so water doesn't go shooting out this way. This is glued together with that Repair X or whatever glue. That shit is awesome. And then what I would do is quite simply.
I'm just going to say that at this point, it feels like this is no longer safe for work.
No. Yeah, well, I guess
that could be about his hose.
That could be a reservoir tip, I guess, but no. But anyway, then I applied a little bit of water pressure. I couldn't just blast it through there. A, because it shoots this hose off. B, because it shoots this hose off. So I had to kind of let it go through slow, and I'm just watching bubbles chase each other around until they finally ultimately come out here. Now, just like in this image, at the end of them, I have these little, I think they're 50 caliber BBs for a wrist rocket, for a slingshot. And it turns out they fit in just perfectly into an 8mm pipe. And perfectly meaning that extremely snug, but they still make it in there. And they make excellent blockers. So I did that, and those are on the ends of all the pipes that are in my car right now. This was everything that I put into my car is now off these shelves. I was just like, oh my God, there's like nothing here anymore.
I don't think that you'll need these shelves in Book Sly.
No, the shelves I don't need. That's why they're staying there. But I was just, I felt like taking a picture of it because of the fact that it was, everything was gone now.
May I ask a question? Why the fuck is there a door behind the shelves?
Because my storage room is actually well, it's a container, and this container was originally one of those ones that was partitioned off into 3 sections,
Ah, got it. Okay.
and so it actually has 3 doors, and there's one to the left, one to the right, and then obviously there's one in the middle. So I never used the one in the middle, so I just put shelves in front of it. But and then this was half of my car packed. This is all the shit that is just for this thing. Hey, Snark, thanks, buddy. This is all the shit that's all packed up inside of the car right now. Both of the foot areas on behind the seats here are full. Here's actually you can see right here. That's the marker light on the backside of the board, pointing at the hole, and there's the bucket that Sean wasn't sure about, and what do you call it? Backpack that we're going to be going back and forth with because that's got all the last minute fixes, or it's even got some of that waterproof repair tape.
I have a favor to ask, Sly.
What's that?
If this test goes successfully, can we rename the video to the world's largest flat Earth enema?
Oh.
I'm not
Well,
certain.
are you sure about this? I'm pretty certain that Riley is holding the record right now.
Yeah, Riley gives them an enema every day. Anyway.
Yeah, but he's not using a mile worth of tubing.
This is true.
Also, we don't have purple spray can spray
Yeah.
yet.
You know, sitting next to the can of yellow and green was actually neon purple. And I was like, no, it's too dark. No. But, and then let's see, down here, I have 2 rollers, you know, those little kick rollers, for going up and down the bike path to do various things that we're going to be doing on the test. That's just to make it, go by a little bit faster, because if not, it's going to cost like about 25 minutes every time somebody has to go at the end of the track. And whereas these rollers will get you down there a lot faster. These plastic containers are just in case of rain. That's for the for where I'm going to be putting the tablets for viewing through the cameras. What do you call it? These are clear plastic. They'll sit up on their side and protect the tablets. Now these 2 things here are very important. These are friendly fire banners that that anybody who's been around the military or been deployed, this gets put on the top of the truck. I ended up with a bunch of them after one post closed down, and basically it's kind of a really blazoned orange, and then on the other side it's like a blazoned pink. And what they do is, so your vehicle is not mistaken as an enemy, they strap them onto they don't do it anymore, but they would strap these onto the top of the trucks. So like, somebody from a helicopter or something like that would see that and know that was a friendly vehicle. Now, what I'm going to do with these, the reason why I have them is they also are very, very obvious markers. That's what they're built for. So what I'm going to do is when I do the side view with the drone, if it doesn't rain too hard, when I do the side view, I'm going to have one of these at the first post and one of these at the last post. Why? Because you're not going to be able to see the posts, which is why that's a worthless idea anyway. But I got to show it, otherwise I'm just going to get ridiculed for not showing it. And since we're out there and it only takes a drone flight to do it, I'm going to do it. But I'm going to use these as the markers as where the beginning and the end of the test track is. Then, of course, on the other side, I got my cameras and my tripods and all that. And then in my poor trunk, my poor trunk is filled with all 16 rolls of tubing filled with water. Okay, I'm going a little low rider. And by the way, I call your attention to the beautiful sunshine that you're seeing all over these pictures. And that's because it was so gorgeous out today. And I was like, oh man, I hope it doesn't stay like this. But I also have my 2 garden chairs in there. This is going to be an umbrella for the table. By the way, that white thing across there, that's a plastic garden table, because we're going to need a table out there. This right here is that rolling measuring stick for measuring distances. And now I want to make sure that I say this before we go out to the test. One of these rolls I was actually using for testing here in my home, meaning that I was testing fill speeds. I was testing, what's an easy way to get bubbles out of the thing, et cetera, et cetera. Now, it sat for about 3 days with water in it, and there were a couple of spots that had bubbles, and the pipe itself is a bit foggy due to calcification. Germany has very hard water, and so there will be spots on that one that will look like bubbles. They are not bubbles. Okay, they are just remnants of what was bubbles that turned into calcification on the walls of the inner walls of the tube. However, I have marked that one special. The bag on it's got a bunch of Roman numeral ones on it, and I'm going to use that as my first, as the first pipe. Okay, between pipe zero and pipe one. The reason why is because I don't want that out in the middle somewhere, just so somebody can make a comment about it being filled with some kind of super magic gas that is somehow affecting only the middle of the test area or whatever.
Good call.
So that's that one, and I will actually show that. And I wanted to make sure I said it in this pre-video so that nobody could think that otherwise of it. And as a matter of fact, I think. Wait a minute. You might even be able to see a little bit of it. I don't know to what detail though, because it was on the shelf in that shelf picture with all the pipes on it. Oh no, I had already taken it down. Okay, my bad. It was sitting right here. I had already taken it down though and packed it into the car before I came up with the wonderful idea to take a picture of this stuff. But yeah, so like I said, and so just be on the lookout for that. That's going to be the first. That's going to be the first one. Yeah. So this is going to be one heck of a ride, man. I mean, this is going to be. Me personally, I find stuff like this fun. It's been a lot of work. It has taken up, I would say, in total, probably about 4 weeks of my free time, as far as after work time. So it's, yeah, but it's gonna. I have a feeling it's gonna pay off real nice. See, do you have any idea what you're gonna do with this stuff at the end of the experiment? Well, basically, I'm gonna say it like this. Some of these things I can use. There's a couple of things that'll probably just kind of gather dust in my storage bin there. I'm going to give it a short period of time. I haven't decided yet how long as they've cried for a flat earther to be able to obtain these pipes to reproduce the test. But after that, I'm actually going to use this piping in a rather extravagant manner in my rather long garden for irrigation. So I can repurpose the stuff if I need to. A lot of the other stuff is not really, it's stuff that can be used in many different ways, and most of those ways I haven't even thought of yet. But let me go down. Let me go down my packing list here, because it's quite an impressive list. This is all the stuff that was purchased for and or is being used in this test. So hold on a second here. I got it on my tablet here. Okay, so obviously Big Willie, then my camera and the Mavic Pro, and I'm also bringing a Celestron spotting scope that I have. I haven't decided if I'm going to use it, but I figured it would be great to have a scope out there that didn't require power. Let's see, I have solar power banks. Those are going to be powering the tablets, so we can have those on for a long duration of time. I got walkie-talkies, AA batteries for those walkie-talkies. I have 4 walkie-talkies. One of them, wherever the live stream's going on or wherever any footage is going on, it's going to... Nana, thanks, bud. Really? Yeah, I can't wait for the butt hurt either.
What do you want to drink?
Huh? Oh, I thought you were talking to me, man. The, what do you call it? So, AA batteries for those walkie-talkies. One of those walkie-talkies, I have 4 of them. One of those walkie-talkies will be staying next to any camera that's filming, so we always have the audio cues of everything that's going on. Oh, and by the way, I hate to disappoint a lot of people, but they're probably the majority of the time that we're there, we will be speaking German. it depends on who shows up. I mean, my son is fluent in English. Gio is obviously fluent in English. I'm pretty good at it.
What?
But but the thing is that in case I happen to have other people there and they happen to all be German, there's a good possibility a lot of the audio that you hear on some of these live streams, unless we're talking to the live stream, will most likely be in German. Let's see. I have a cigarette lighter to 220 volt transformer. Let's see. The backboard that I showed you, the marker light, the alignment board. Let's see. A razor blade, measuring stick, that black Sharpie. Every one of those things is going to be marked on those posts, so I can lay those posts out at the end and show how they all line up together.
Wait a second. Is it actually a Sharpie, or is it an edding?
Well, I think it's edding,
Okay.
but Americans understand Sharpie.
Yeah.
A permanent marker.
I've never actually handled a Sharpie.
Echt? I got one. I got one in front of me right now.
They're just on the thing over here most of the time.
Then, of course, I have let's see, the Samsung tablet that the Samsung tablet, which is going to be used to communicate with the P1000. My Asus tablet, it's an older one, which will be used for communicating with my Panasonic camera. Then, of course, I'm going to be bringing my Surface because that's going to be used for all my annotations. Let's see, the rolling measuring stick, as you saw. I have 3 tripods that I'm bringing, plus I have one that's hollowed out. That's going to be actually used to make sure that post 16 is completely upright and straight up and stays that way as good as it can. Because these things are actually kind of flimsy. It's not that they're going to break. It's going to take a lot to break them, but they're going to move around a lot. Let's see, duct tape, Velcro, the garden table, an umbrella. Which you see right there. Let's see. Yeah, it's the hollow tripod. The backpack, which is going to have a lot of the small accessories in it for, when we're actually setting up the pipes.
Did you already say garden chairs?
Yeah, I got 2 of them there.
Okay.
And
yeah, I got one as well for me.
Yeah, make sure anybody who comes down there, make sure you bring one because there is no place but ground to sit unless you want to sit up on one of the benches, and that's kind of away from the action a little bit. And also be prepared to get your feet dirty or your shoes dirty because we saw the molehills last time. And if it rained or if it is raining, we're going to be standing around in grass pretty much all day. So wear some good shoes for that. Let's see, the 2 rollers that I showed you, the ground pipes, the upright tubes, the weather meter. I'm bringing my GoPro out because I'm going to try and do a time lapse, but it depends on how we get it set up. We might already have enough cameras covering everything. I have my gimbal coming out there because I'm going to be using my gimbal as a steady cam for when I do the walk the line video. Those 2 tarps. I'm going to have a clock. I have a clock that, just a cheap, hours and minutes clock that is going to be sitting on the table so that, so we have pretty much a visual timestamp for everything that we do. And of course, a hammer. And then the big box of clips.
Is the hammer to drop after the experiment?
It might be, but no. The hammer is obviously when I put those marking stakes in, which the upright poles are going to be on. It's in case we come into a little tough ground, but I'm not anticipating that we'll see that much of it. And plus, these stakes they're only 66 centimeters long, and so Jen, thanks. and we're only going to be pushing them in a little ways because it's not going to take much to hold these uprights up. So, but man, it has been crazy putting all this stuff together and getting all this stuff ready to go. And
Colin just debunked your entire experiment. You didn't list cheesy puffs.
Cheesy puffs.
Yeah, they got to be on the list, man.
No, over here they have Käse flips. And Erdnuss flips.
Oh yeah, Erdnuss flips.
Just added that to your packing list, didn't you?
You'd be surprised on how few peanuts they actually contain.
Yeah, I'm sure. But And so since Bob has not gotten back to me with his measurements for or his formula for perspective that he says I'm omitting, Dell has all but completely disappeared from any kind of conversation about me or my work since I pointed out the fact that he proved the Earth to be a globe and then blamed it on perspective and hid the video. And then, of course, PW with, his just all out lie. So, yeah, I guess we're all systems go for tomorrow. And I have to wake up in about, what time is it right now? 10:17.
Late.
Yeah, so I got to wake up in about 6 hours. And then I roll down, pick up my son. The car's already packed. The only thing I have to still throw in there is I have a couple of things on their chargers right now because I don't want to have a Bedford level incident. And Sean knows what I'm talking about. You remember that?
Say it again.
The Bedford level.
Yeah.
When the FEs went out there and disproved their own claims and claimed that instead of showing it, they claimed that all of their batteries died on all of the cameras that were there. And so, go figure.
It's amazing how flat earthers and batteries seem to always die just as they're about to prove something that goes against their belief.
Isn't it, though? I mean, it's just amazing like that.
I mean, you have Mr. Surviving his balloon launch battery died at 30,000 feet. Well, 45,000 feet, somewhere on there.
Yeah. And Jeranism and his balloon launch that just kind of disappeared into nothingness.
That never happened, actually. At least not for the Thrive and Survive Jeranism tandem balloon launch.
Oh, no, I'm not talking about the tandem one. I'm talking about the one that they said that the CIA shut down.
Oh, well, yeah, there's that.
Actually, they didn't say CIA, but they just kind of referred to them as them.
Well, Bob tried to avoid it, making any conspiracy about it, but Jaren, of course, being Jaren, had to speak up and throw it into a big conspiracy about how it was shot down.
Yeah. Yeah, but he, to his credit, though, he did kind of get egged on by Dearth.
Yes, that's true.
Dearth was like, "Well, we're knocking on the door of the biggest conspiracy of our time," and Jaren was like, "Yeah."
That's one thing I never understood about the whole flat Earth conspiracy thing is generally when there's a conspiracy that's really big, people disappear so they don't spout the truth about it, so to speak. Why are all these flat earthers publicly making videos and none of them have been disappeared?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you really tripped over something, how is it you're still breathing?
Right.
I mean, that's not a threat. That's real reality. If somebody was holding a multi-billion-dollar secret that they're also making money off of and all this other stuff, and you think you got it because you saw a blurry video, yeah.
Well, they constantly say, people aren't coming forward about it and being whistleblowers because the fear of death. And here they are making videos about this conspiracy. Where's their fear of death?
Yeah, right. And on top of that, but YouTube censored me. Oh, Jesus. Bjorn, I need to say that as far as accounting for snacks, everybody who comes, this is also you, Gio. Everybody who comes to the test, please come having had breakfast because there will not be breakfast there. What do you call it? But lunch will be provided by me to all who attend.
Right. It's like regarding breakfast, be assured that I can live from my fat reserves for 2.5 weeks.
I'll just say that if Riley does show up, make sure you come prepared with red and blue food coloring.
I actually have a packet of that shit.
Just since you're supplying him lunch, make it a color he's familiar with.
But anyway, no, we will be having pizza and soda and alcohol-free beer. But I know, don't say it. But
isn't that a contradiction in terms?
It kind of is, but it's
a sin in Germany.
Well, actually, it's more of a sin to not celebrate the completion of a project than it is what you drink. What do you call it? And so I've known a lot of people that, depending on what the circumstance is, obviously, if they got to drive home, I got to drive home 3.5 hours with my kid and a full car. I'm not going to put any of that at risk just because I have to have an alcohol beer.
Right.
It's just not going to happen.
Oh, I understand the logic behind it. It's just, It's Germany.
Yeah.
It makes no sense to me.
No, well, just Go
I
to
just didn't-
sleep. Go to sleep happy, knowing that beer is involved.
Well, Sean, you actually don't understand the gravity of this situation. Not only is it Germany, it's Upper Franconia.
So
Look,
where
every
did
time
you
come with that
appropriate?
Franken stuff, man?
Where did you appropriate alcohol-free anything in Germany?
Oh, it exists.
Alcohol-free water, maybe.
Yeah,
That's about
Maybe.
it.
and it exists with the big names. So don't
I'm
act
sure.
like
I'm
it's
sure
some
you can
kind of
get
freak shit.
alcoholed water in Germany somewhere too.
Yeah, they call it vodka, but
There you go.
but no, but like I said, lunch will be provided by me. Now I don't know how long we're going to stay there. I'm hoping not too terribly long. And but that all depends on what the weather does, honestly, and how the equipment plays. So I want to make sure that we get everything accomplished that we set out to accomplish, to include. And by the way, guys, as much as you guys helped me out, Wicked Laser still has not delivered on the Arctic Blue Laser. So I am going to be using that real
Did you
green
order
one.
one?
Yeah, I did.
Holy shit.
Well,
be
yeah,
very careful with that one.
yeah,
You actually got a big laser?
yeah. Because everybody wanted me to do the post 15, post 16 laser test, and what do you call it, to see if it would line up and if you could actually see it from the observation area.
How much power does that thing have?
I only got a 1 water. I didn't get the 3.5.
It's like you realize that a 15 milliwatt laser is pretty much deadly to your eyes, right? Yours is what?
Well,
6 times stronger?
That's also why I got 5 pairs of glasses.
Yeah, okay. No, you cannot actually use this thing in the public.
Yeah, well,
It's completely irresponsible.
buzzkill. But no, actually, what I have is a blanket that I was going to have it shooting at. I wasn't going to be pointing it at everybody saying, "Hey, can you see this?" But
Not anymore.
Not anymore. I
Well-
saw it just for a second, but no. But no, I had planned on being quite responsible with it, and not pointing it at anything other than the test equipment and the hill. So this was not going to be a big problem. But they said that sometimes shipping times. I mean, I only ordered it last week, but they said shipping times sometimes could take up to 3 weeks or 3 to 4 weeks, and I'm a little pissed about it. So I'm going to end up with a
It's the
laser I'm going to
background
use.
check, man.
What's that?
It's the background check.
It could be. I don't know. But unfortunately, it has not arrived, and so we'll have to do that test and maybe the lightning bug test another time. But which was something that only Geo really knew a little bit about, but unfortunately that part's going to have the laser test is going to take place with the rather high power laser pointer that I have, which I already have the measurements on its diffraction and or its disperse of the beam, and all this is going to be as an I see it. In other words, when I line up that laser on the last 100 meters of the test, if anybody at the observation point can even see it. And I also have I put together a little visible shield that would make it so that you would only see the laser if you were looking directly in line with it, as opposed to just being able to see the diode, the glow of the diode. So we're going to do that as well. And then that'll probably, once we tear it down, I'm going to lay all the pipes out next to each other, and we'll get those images as well. And then hopefully by that time we can, all the pipes will be drained so my car can survive a little better, and we'll pack up and get the hell out of there.
Do you have any idea how much weight of water you've got to deal with here?
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to measure this because they actually do have a curb weight platform over on the post that I was on, but it was not functioning. And but at best estimations, we have it at about between 80 and 90 kilos of water in the back of my car right now.
Jeez.
So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, it's not that bad.
No, it's about the size of a it's about your size, Sean. It's not really all that bad. It's just you in the trunk. So,
Yeah, you might get pulled over thinking you're some kind of Gestapo.
Yeah, it does look like I wrapped something up, didn't it?
No. He drives a BMW 3 Series and he has a lot of tubing in the back. He's definitely a drug dealer.
Yeah, they're gonna wonder why I'm not Turkish. But
Yeah, that's Sean. That's surprisingly true. This car has a reputation.
oh yeah, that wasn't meant as an insult. You look around, about 80% of this car that I have right now, you'll find there'll be a Turkish guy behind the wheel. And what do you call it? But that's just statistics.
They have a saying over there: "Wife can be from village, but car must be from Germany."
Yeah, that's rough.
Jeez.
That's rough. But let's see. You should put some warning signs up regarding the laser. Well, yeah, like I said, should that become a thing, then definitely I'm going to be taking those precautions because obviously I don't want to get I don't want to hurt anybody. So let's see. Did you check if you need a permit for the whole thing? No, I'm not going to need a permit for this because I'm not making any alterations to the terrain, nor am I charging money for it. So, and what do you call it? Now, if I were doing it maybe up on the top of the berm and stuff like that, I might need a permit for it because I would actually be causing or possibly be causing damage to the levee, and which I'm sure some local official would really like to get their hands on. Now, there was somebody else who was saying that I was going to need a permit because I was doing this next to a bike path.
What?
I have no clue what the hell that was supposed to mean, but he went back on it about 3 or 4 times, and I was just like, "Well, when you tell me when it's illegal to stand next to or, put up a plastic tube next to a bike path, you let me know." But so, like I said, the big points to be considered right now are all of the equipment is in place and it's all packed in my car right now. Like I said, except for a couple of things that I'm charging right now. I just got done charging the Mavic, and the all my tablets are charged. GoPro is sort of charged, but I'm going to be running that off of a power bank anyway. The last battery for Big Willie is being charged, and what do you call it? So it's once I got all that together, I'm going to stuff that stuff in the car, and then I'm just going to bed. Because
That reminds me of something, Slide. Do you by any chance have a USB hub?
USB hub,
Yeah.
might have. I don't ever use the damn things.
Yeah, the thing is that my computer only has one USB connection, the laptop. So I have to decide whether to plug in the camera or whether to plug in the wireless headset. Otherwise, I still have an analog one, which is pretty much identical.
Yeah,
I think camera takes priority.
Yeah, I honestly do not think that I have a USB hub because I never use the things.
Okay, whatever. Then I'll use the
I
wired
mean,
one.
I have a USB docking station for my Surface Go, but that's it. That wouldn't really qualify. But we'll see what we can come up with when we get out there.
Okay, yeah, whatever. I already packed out the wired one, the wired headset.
But so, Sean, do you have any questions for me?
No, you got everything pretty well covered.
All right. Now, did you happen to notice any pertinent questions other than whatever various hogwash going on in the chat?
Not really. I don't recall if you actually discussed with the audience on how you're connecting all the pipes together with that bucket that you brought up the bucket.
No. The bucket is basically so that when I connect the ground poles, the bucket is all about the T connector at the bottom of the
Right.
at the bottom of the main poles, and I'm going to have that submerged in water, and then the 2 end pipes that are also going to connect to that connector. They will the ball bearing will be taken out of those and connected up so that no air can get into the system. That's the whole purpose of doing that. It's just I'm making sure that the connections happen submerged so no unwanted air gets stuck in there.
Right.
Which could basically turn into a showstopper real quick.
I just wasn't aware if you brought that up with the audience at any point or not. I remember we talked about it privately.
Hold on a second here. My concern is the focus and the distance of the first pole, which I recommended to increase camera first pole to, and use a high ISO to close the iris to the max. Give good depth of field. Okay, well, I'm not going to claim I'm a professional photographer, so I don't know exactly what a higher ISO would do to it. But the reason why, and this seems to have confused a lot of flat earthers, and they thought that this was part of some kind of conspiracy. The reason why the observation point itself is going to be 100 meters from the first pole in the test. The reason for that is because of the fact that if I was all the way up on it, or the first pole is like maybe 10 feet in front of the camera, that first pole, when I zoom the P1000 all the way in, is going to take up half the picture. And that would be utterly worthless, and it would be worthless just even to have it there. So what I did was I made the decision to have the observation point actually 100 meters distant from the first pole, which is known as pole zero or post zero. So we're actually going to have 100 meters off of that, and which makes it a much more comfortable size to fit into the picture. So, well, no, I understand ISO is sensitivity, but as far as how it would apply to this particular situation, like I said, I'm sure there's people who would be able to snapshot this, and there's a friend of mine who might actually be showing up who actually is a professional photographer. Or, well, he calls himself semi-professional, but when your stuff lands in magazines and stuff like that, I consider you a professional.
Yeah, at that point.
But there's a friend of mine who might be showing up if he decides he's able to make the drive, because he lives further away from this than I do. And but if he does, then I'm sure he'll have a lot better tips for me for on site.
Giant midget moto, the camera height is actually irrelevant for those part. Camera height above the ground, because it's going to be going by a marker from the first pole to the last pole. It's a line of sight.
Right.
And we're going to see Sly's going to see how the water's affected by where it's at in the position of the poles. Is it going to be level across the board, or is it going to show a curve?
And for more detailed explanations of that, otherwise we're going to run into explaining the whole test here. What do you call it? For more detailed explanations on that, look on my channel for anything that says bending water test. And I think we went through the process probably about 3 different times in varying levels of detail. And don't get it wrong like PW did. In fact, if you want to see how I'm not going to do the test, go over to Phuket Word and look for his videos regarding this test.
Limitless channel. Be sure to pass on Awake Souls 21 hours. He'll know what I mean by the response I got.
Let's see. Limitless channel. This is going to be so funny. Thank you. We will be covering this tonight at 8 p.m. Central Time on the Awake Souls channel. You guys crack me up. Well, Limitless, when you actually do something, because it's the reason why you won't, I'd put out my debate call, and I didn't see you guys come answering because you guys don't do any experimentation. So when you actually do something, then come over here and say that, somebody cracks you up. Because I saw your presentation on the debate with Reds. Okay, that shit was hysterical. Okay, all it was a couple of excerpts out of Dubé's book.
Pretty much.
And that done, you couldn't even vocalize it yourself. You had to pre-record it. So, yeah, I'm not too interested in what cracks you up. Okay. Let's see. Anything else here? Let's see. Just thinking someone might try to say that the camera height is why it does or doesn't show. Well, you see that giant midget moto. The camera height. Basically, if you take a line between the 1 centimeter below the water height at post 16 and 1 centimeter below the water height at post 0, that draws a line. It's called a chord. I'm sure you're probably already aware of that. And the camera will be directly in line with that chord. Now, I am going to move the camera once we get everything all put together, or excuse me, as far as, put all the markers in place to show it from varying angles and all that. But you're going to see 2 parallel lines, and that'll be measurable. So anybody who tries to say that, camera height had something to do with this, when I move it to different shots, is basically going to be making an ass out of themselves and displaying that they have absolutely no idea what they're talking about. So let's see. We have nothing to do with Doobie. Who the fuck? Yeah, you're talking to somebody else. Who cares? All right. Oh, I know we're talking about flat earther logic. I mean, I've already had the 3 people ridicule this test, and it was hysterical all 3 times. Let's see. Have fun, guys, and pray you find the truth. And I got a question for you, Limit, since you want to be heard. If my test shows exactly what at least the geometry predicts it will show, which is 2 parallel lines with a measurable arced line in the middle, what will be your response?
CGI. That is their go-to. Everything is CGI, even when live streamed.
Jeez. Limitless. Go ahead and answer that. Would actually being able to see the curve in action right in front of you, would that or would that not be enough to show you that the Earth is actually curved? Yes, Yomero, you and I are going to need to talk. I build buildings and landscape, you fool. You don't know anything. Well, that's funny.
Really? And then he retracted it.
Then he retracts it.
So landscaping or the actual lay of the land is going to affect the level of water. Is that what you're trying to claim now? They're limitless. That's the whole point of this test, is that water always finds its level. We're going to see if that level is straight or curved.
And I ain't gonna lie to you, man. This is gonna sound as bad as it sounds, but living in South Florida for as long as I did, the dudes on the back of a truck who landscape usually aren't the ones that I want to have a scientific discussion with.
I can't believe he retracted that as soon as we read it, and he retracted it as you were reading it.
Yeah.
So why were you trying to hide your message there, Limitless? Did you not want people to see that permanently in the stream?
Or maybe it was something that you contradict something you've said before about what you do.
He just said it. I always stand with truth, which is why you retracted your comment. Is it not true?
Oh, no, hold on. You always stand with truth. So what you are saying is, if you could actually see the curve, because this isn't going to be CGI and this isn't going to be anything like that. I'm actually going to walk all this stuff. Okay. I wish I was that cool to have live CGI. Okay. But you're saying that if you see the curved line between the 2 parallel lines, and that water, and that's going to be the water height, and you're going to be able to see me actually measure it, then you're cool with the Earth being curved. I want to hear that answer. Please address me so I know you're actually answering me and not somebody else in the chat.
I can guarantee you that their little live stream tonight is going to say one or 2 things. You're either going to be lying about the results, or it's all CGI. Most likely, they're going to claim CGI.
Well, do they know that are they actually aware that we're live streaming this as far as possible? Because good luck faking that on the fly.
I mean, I wish I was cool enough to CGI that, and faking it. I'm sorry. I'm going to walk the line. You're gonna see this shit. This isn't just, Sly's going to make a video showing a single photograph and say, here, believe me.
He's digging through his scripts.
Tommy, yes, you are 100% right. That's going to be that's what the math says it's going to be. Doesn't sound like a lot, but when you back up off of that and zoom in, it's quite noticeable. If you look in one of the first 2 videos I had about this, I actually showed that modeled out to scale, and it's actually quite noticeable. The best proof that it's real is that you invited everyone on the spot so they could check everything themselves. So that, this has always been an open thing. And this date has been out now for a week. So
Did he block me or did he change accounts?
I don't know. I haven't seen a new post from him.
I'm just trying to see where you got that comment from.
No, I was reading somebody else. Let's see.
Oh God. He just posted.
Yeah, okay. So 3958.8 miles radius. You need to be 100,000 feet up. No.
Oh God.
Limitless. Limitless. I want you to answer me a question. If we stand on a ball, okay, what happens to things as they move farther away from you? They bend downwards at a specific rate, correct?
He'll say no.
Yeah. No, because he wants to say that this isn't horizon curve. Well, guess what, Limitless? Guess what the whole purpose of this test is? To eliminate the horizon and actually see that it's going down beyond it. Let's see. I will be checking your work. No, that doesn't answer my question. Answer my question, Limitless. If I show you curvature, measurable curvature, in this case, it'll be curvature due to drop, not left to right curvature, because you can't get that until you get a good little bit higher. If I show you curvature due to drop, will you then admit that the Earth is not flat?
Well, to be fair, just for argument's sake, if you show no curvature, will you admit the Earth is flat?
No, I'll be certain that I fucked the test up. Actually, I like what Jesse said about it. He says if it's anything other than parallel,
Then the Earth isn't flat.
Then the Earth isn't flat, because there are some greater things to think about, like the density of what do you call it? Various types of metals or minerals below the thing. I mean, it's the whole reason why water kind of pulls itself up to islands and shit. But anything other than parallel is not a flat Earth. Period. Well, I guess Limitless is not going to answer his question, and I'm not going to turn this into the Limitless show.
Right.
Alicia, didn't see you there. We might be getting a visit all the way down from Berlin.
Yeah, that's a toilet.
I was going to say, it's nice to know that meant so much to you. But what do you call it? So, yeah. Anyway, on my previous video, you can go ahead and take a look at the GPS coordinates. Make sure everybody comes by. Anybody who has the time. And let's see. Just to flip it. What if it shows that the Earth is flat? Well, then I would have to wonder why about the 900 other things that I've done or shown or been able to calculate somehow work against that. But what do you call it? Now, like I said, I don't want to turn this into a Limitless show. Surf Persil's going to be there, so there's everybody's reason to show up. What do you call it? Because nobody wants to see my ugly ass. And what do you call it? And I will be, well, Gio's going to have the live stream going up on his, and then I will be also producing the video with the results, and then also having the Walk the Line video run as a live stream, so we can pause it and people can look at it and all that. Yeah, I feel what you're saying there, Persil. 5 hours. I got almost 4 hours my side, so it's going to be a lot of fun. And so everybody make sure you check out Gio's channel. He's going to be live streaming. And then after that, within about a day or so, I will have the actual video out. And we'll see where we go from there.
Okay, so should we maybe do a live stream tomorrow afternoon or in the evening when you're back at home?
What do you mean?
After the experiment is finished.
Shit, once I get home, man, I'm going to be so dead.
Okay. Yeah, just wanted to clear that up.
Yeah, and plus, yeah. So, like I said, I want to whip the video together. I've already pretty much got a fill in the blanks type video set up. Just all I'm looking for now is the results and the photography. But basically, I got all the graphics put together and stuff for what we were doing and what we're working on, and then insert footage here. And so I'm going to be doing that, and then I'll get the video out, and then I'm also going to do the walk the line video, like I said, as a live stream, because I'm anticipating that video to be about 40 to 45 minutes long, and I'm not going to just turn that into something that most people are not going to sit all the way through, unless they have some people to chew on in the chat. So, DJ Moose, thank you, man. Let's see. Good for purpose. For example, more pizza. Well, like I said, there's lunch in it for everybody. So make sure you guys swing on by. All right. So that's all I really had, guys. Sean, Gio, you guys got anything to add or to close with?
No.
No? Okay. So ultimately, once again, my undying thanks for everybody's support through all this, the ups and downs through it. And for the flat earther criticisms, I'm laughing at you because nobody has actually produced an actual critique for this. And for those who are on the rational side of it, I only refer you to a man named John Houbolt, Houbolt. Read up on him, maybe watch a video or two about who that guy was and what he had to go through and how he was ridiculed and basically laughed out of a lot of things for his ideas, only to find out that our nation actually owes him a debt of gratitude for sticking to his guns. So look him up, and that's some good information for you. And yeah, so that's all I really got, and I'm going to be putting this all together. And see, Gary knows who he is, and we'll see each other probably on the live stream tomorrow. I don't know how much of it I'm actually going to be directly paying attention to because I'm actually going to be working through the whole thing. No, not Humboldt. Houbolt. Look him up, and also look up his letter of a voice in the wilderness. I thought that was pretty cool.
There we go. I posted the Wikipedia article.
Oh, there you go. But the video stuff's even better. But thank you. So if we got nothing else, Limitless seems to have ran away because he didn't want to answer a question. And that's rightly so, because that's what flat earthers do. They run away when they don't want to answer a question. So we are going to be starting the live stream on or about, I would say, between about 8 and 9 a.m. Central European time, Central European Daylight Time, before Geo corrects me on that again. What do you call it? And which is about 06, on or about 06 UTC.
Yeah, around that. I try to be there at 8 o'clock. Depends on whether the traffic on the way is okay or not. Right,
and I'm kind of in the same boat. So and if we decide to do it in chunks and pieces and stuff like that, everybody go over, subscribe to Geo's channel, so you can get those notifications if we start and stop, because there's going to be a lot of portions of it where it's going to be really boring because of the fact that we're going to be out actually setting up all these stupid pipes and to get this whole system set up. And I don't really think anybody really wants to watch that portion of it unless you like to watch paint dry. So not all parts of science are exciting. But
you don't need to tell me that.
Yeah, well, you're a chemist, so that you're doing it to yourself.
That's actually correct, yeah.
All right. So anyway, I'm going to hang this up, guys, and we'll see you on the backside of the experiment tomorrow. So everybody here, y'all have yourselves a nice night.